So many of us will, who are trying to do this physical movement as exercise to, to get those health benefits, right? Those ones. Even if we do that, we're not necessarily then also using physical movement as a way to move our emotions, right? Because we're like, oh, I did that already. I went to that class in the morning, or I went to the gym, or I did whatever. I went for my run, right? I got my physical exercise. And yes, that is absolutely really helpful to move emotions and thoughts. But I think what you're talking about is like actually using movement as a tool, as a
Mhm.
strategy for when you are in those mental and emotional places to actually use it as a tool to move, to start
Right.
moving everything, right? That's kind of
Right.
what you're getting at. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, haven't you ever I mean, I feel like I definitely say this to myself that, I
Mhm.
just need to go take a quick walk and
Yeah.
I need to, sort of move things out a little bit. And
Mhm.
I think people think that kind of, but don't think then that this could be a strategy in the way you're saying. And, if we think of it that way, then we understand that we can implement all kinds of different movements into our day when we need it, when we're
Mhm.
feeling reactive,
Mhm.
frustrated, stuck,
Mhm.
angry,
Mhm.
sad. We can bring movement in to move energy. And I mean, really, this is so relevant to Ayurveda in terms
Mhm.
of emotions being energies in motion
Mhm.
that, that is really at the heart of how Ayurveda really works with emotions.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and we'll get into that in a minute, but because yoga and asana is about energy, and we're going to go there in a second, but I just want to go back to something you said, which is, you know if you can use it as a strategy, right? So as a tool in the moment when you are frustrated, upset, feeling down, whatever emotion it is, to help process that. um is there also a way then also to like sort of almost build it into your day, right? Like, I mean, I think you can do both, and I think that that can be really really beneficial, of like forcing yourself to get up and go for that walk, or whatever it is. How do you do that for yourself every day?
Yeah. So I force myself in the morning to do some
Mhm.
movement. And
Mhm.
most of the time that's outside. But if for some reason it's raining really hard or the weather isn't that great, then it might be in my house stretching or a little bit of yoga. I try to not work at my desk for longer than an hour and a half or so.
Mhm.
And I try to get up and move. When I'm
Right.
seeing patients, that's harder in terms of I don't have those built in
Right.
times. So then I do it before or after a half day of clinic. But somehow just implementing that movement into the day as a scheduled thing. I
Mhm.
honestly, it's not because I'm so good. It's because I can't function that well if I don't do that. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
I found for myself.
Yeah. I've definitely found that too, is that when I notice the days that I start with a long walk, or, not even a long walk, 15 minutes of a walk just around the park in front of my house, I actually feel better all day long. I've noticed that pattern. And I've also noticed that when I am getting frustrated or upset about something, while I'm working and I'm writing or whatever it is, I had a weird call with somebody or a meeting,
Yeah.
and I give myself that break of like getting up from my desk and going outside and going for a walk, or like you said, stretching or moving or doing something, I actually can come back to what I'm doing and feel like I've kind of reset myself, and I can start from like sort of a balanced place again, or like a neutral place a lot
Yeah.
of the
And I think that probably, all of the
time.
data we have on exercise is really transferable and relevant here, which is that we know that when we move, we secrete endorphins, which are feel good molecules, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And we secrete actual particular molecules from our muscles called myokines that actually are anti inflammatory messengers that message and communicate with all of our organs. But here I'm talking about the brain. So actually give messages to our brain. I mean,
Mhm.
when we move, I think we are really giving our body a signal of how to move literally and metaphorically through
Mhm.
something.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, I think that that's so important that we also remember that our bodies are actually responding with all these hormones that they're releasing. Like I feel like and I'm totally, guilty of it too. I forget about that. I forget about how incredibly, sort of smart and intelligent our bodies are, and our bodies are connected to our heads for a reason,
Right.
not like they're separate. And so obviously there's something that's going to be communicated between our heads, our minds, and our bodies. And so why not use that connection in this way? Because our physiology is using it, right? Like you said, we're releasing these endorphins and myokines and neurochemicals, all those feel good hormones, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, right? Those are all stimulated when we move our physical body.
Mhm.
So it's like that in itself is a strategy, right? If
Right.
you just think about it that way, right?
Exactly.
You could say to yourself, okay, it's time for, a hormone release break or whatever you want to call it. Like, let's stimulate those hormones. Let's go for a walk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other way. If we had a medication that could secrete them right
I
away,
know.
we would, but we do. We have, it's called movement, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like we're so programmed in the West to take a medication to help with everything, and we don't even realize that it's already in our bodies. We just have to activate it. That's all we have
Exactly.
to do. It's kind of an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah. Movement
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah.